Hey guys, welcome back. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful week thus far. It's a big, beautiful Tuesday, or Wednesday, or whatever time it is when you catch this episode. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. And today we got a few things to take a look at around the town. I believe we have a villager staying in our campsite. But more importantly, I'd like to ask you guys, how do you feel about using a guide when gaming? You know how it is. Sometimes you just turn it on, obviously, it's honestly a lot easier these days than it was back when I was a lot younger. Nowadays, you just hop online and you go to a website, or you can even use AI. AI is so sophisticated right now that it can literally just give you a pretty accurate rundown of what's going on. But for the most part, whether it's an old school magazine, a forum on a website, or even if it's your best chum who's sitting over there and, oh my, what do you want? Oh, great. Here we go. Hippo times 2. Uh-huh. So you've gone from breaking people's hearts to getting other hippos sick. By the way, Bubbles, sorry about that. And now this is what you call encouragement. Just yelling at me at the top of your lungs with your sunglasses on your nose? You know what? Whatever. I do feel encouraged. Hurrah! Kinda. Not encouraged enough to catch that banded dragonfly. I don't know where the heck that thing went, but just life isn't the same without you, Biff. Just wonderful having you around. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Anyway, for real though, guys, how do you feel about it? Do you think that when people use guides, it takes away from the experience, or do you think that the experience is enhanced by having access to the guide? Obviously, I can see both sides of it. That's how I try to be kind of neutral on the whole topic. I can see how some people like that. I know people in my life who using a guide, it's super taboo, especially during your first playthrough. It's like, why would you do that? You're like ruining all the surprises, Brand. Like, do you really want to know who's going to die in this part of the game without before you actually get to that point? And it's like, well, quite frankly, I don't think it's really ruining the surprise of who's going to die. Like, even if it does, I mean, for me, it's the build-up that matters more than the actual act of them dying. As long as they build up the character to be somebody important that I care about, and it actually hurts when they die, then it doesn't matter to me what the surprise outcome is if they do. But the guide's not going to ruin that for me, per se. Like, I can understand that. But it's leveraging that. It's like, do you want to be spoiled about minor things, but you actually feel like you know what you're doing when you play the game? Or do you want to feel like you're completely in the dark when you play? And that's the fun for you. Mind you, like, again, as I always say, there's no wrong way to play your game. If you are big on that, let me rewind it a little bit. Talk about how guides were back when I was a wee lad. Not so wee that I was a baby, but when I was a bit younger than what I am now. If you wanted a guide, you had to go down to your local game store. These days, it's GameStop. It's like the game store, but there were I think it went by a different name back in the day. But you had to go there, and that area where they have all those crusty old magazines that nobody actually picks up or reads at any point in time. Yeah, those were the guides, and you had to open it up, take a look, and actually learn something inside there. If something new was introduced in the game at some point recently, then you we're kind of like out of luck with being able to experience that, because if it wasn't well known enough when you had first gotten it, the guide magazine, then well, you wouldn't be able to actually. I mean, you can't learn what isn't known, right? Let's just put it that way. So if nobody knows that that cool new trick or whatnot to do that thing or anything like that, mind you, it was crazy some of the things that you did get to learn in these magazines back in the day. Like, for example, um, there were various Pokemon games that I played. I think I learned the missing no glitch in that, but more importantly, the lesser known glitch in Generation 2, specifically Gold and Silver. There was actually a glitch that let you clone a Pokemon in your on your save file, and it didn't ruin your game at all, if I recall correctly. So basically, you could have as many red Gyarados as you could possibly desire, or more importantly, I didn't do it back then because I was probably already at the tail end when I found it out. But I had a shiny Eevee from the Celadon City, and mind you, because the graphics back then weren't necessarily as um, detailed or refined as they are nowadays. I couldn't tell for a while that I had a shiny Eevee, and then, it got to a point. It's like, well, having access to this trick, it would have been really easy. Just clone my Eevee 5 times over, so I have 6 of them. Mind you, it's Generation 2, so there's only 5 evolutions. You just have a spare one just in case, and then I would, in theory, be able to have pretty much like all the shiny variants of it right there. You get your green Espeon and Jolteon, you get your purple Vaporeon, your off-color Flareon, and obviously the MVP, the Umbreon with the blue rings. That's the real keeper right there. But I had to learn that from a magazine. I had to pick it up, learn it from there, and be like, oh wow. In the original Animal Crossing game, there were codes you could use for accessing, what's it called? If you wanted to get certain items from Nook's catalog, you could use a special code to order these items, which allowed you to get stuff like, I was never any good at Gracie's minigame to get the rare shirts. So I would use magazines to get access to all the codes that I would need in order to basically have just all these cool shirts, as well as other rare things too. I think I used it for Sahara's and Wendell's stuff too, but these are just guides for like cheats essentially. So I guess one could argue oh, that's very different from like a guide to help beat a game. So let me try it explaining it another way. So in my spare time, when I try to find time, I'm like 99% of the time if I'm on a game, I'm on the Switch. I'm on my Switch or Switch 2. I'm a Nintendo baby, and it's kind of, it's how I grew up. It's what I enjoy. It's where I'm at. Fair enough. But what I do in my spare time is I will play a game that you may have heard of called Elden Ring. That game is harder than a 3-day steak. It can be tough. Actually, from what I've read about the Soulsborne games, Elden Ring is actually more towards, I believe it's like the easiest one. It's just the most ambitious and big one. But there's lots of things that they put into the game that you have to know about or go find in order to actually have it be kind of easy breezy. And me, I'm like a lot of people. I can't fully enjoy a game unless I'm doing something absolutely ridiculous. So one of the things I tried to do was I asked the game, yo, can you help me figure this thing out to compensate for, dare I say, my lack of skill overall? Something that kind of helps me get into there. So I was trying to look up. It's like, okay, cool. Well, you know, it sounds fun since there's bleed buildup. You get it from like pretty much like from the moment you create your character. You just pick the samurai and get your Uchigatana. I was like, well, what if I had like a frost weapon, like able to get frost buildup too, like simultaneously? That sounds like it'd be kind of cool, right? Kind of effective. All right. Well, as somebody who is somewhat unfamiliar with the Soulsborne games and have no experience with Elden Ring at that point in time, it's like, oh, how do you figure these things out, right? So I did the most disgraceful thing possible, according to some people, not everybody. In fact, a lot of people probably disagree. But I looked up a guide. I went to, we live in the post wiki era. Pretty much every game you play is going to have some sort of a wiki behind it that's going to help you figure out what the heck is going on inside that game, and you don't have to feel like you're completely and utterly lost all the time when you're playing. And at first I tried using AI to answer the question as to where I could find this thing, and it basically said, I'm sorry, you can't do that. Well, guess what? Remember, AI does not know anything. Knows everything, but also doesn't know anything simultaneously. And I did a little bit more research and found out that, like basically I was watching a YouTube video. I love watching Elden Ring YouTube videos. It's one of my weaknesses. I was watching one, though, and I seen some guy who just basically just like ran to the whole area where I thought you'd be able to find the item to put a frost enchantment on your weapon. So then I went back and asked him, say, hey man, I just seen this video and it says he just straight up bypassed Stormveil. And sure enough, it's like, oh yeah, my bad, I was wrong. Yeah, you can just like skip Stormveil and go straight to Lerny of the Lakes and get the Glintstone Wetblade. I mean, you do have to beat one boss though. I'm like, okay, cool. So literally, like, you start up the game, beat one boss, and suddenly you have access to putting a frost enchantment on your weapon. Sounds dope. All right. Mind you, that boss is the Red Wolf of Radagon, but hi Drake. Uh-huh. Cool. I don't want him. I don't want him. But mind you, that boss is a Red Wolf of Radagon, who's known for being basically the Akuma of some of the Elden Ring bosses, aka he has a small health bar, but he is a very aggressive, high damage output. So, how do you work around that one? Well, we figured it out. And by figured it out, I mean, I wanted to make sure I had this as quickly as possible, and I thought I had heard something at one point, looked it up. Yeah, guess what? The guide also told me there's a way to cheese him completely by neutering the Red Wolf. And yeah, do I feel bad about it? Yes. Remotely, I do feel a little bit bad about it. Basically, what I'm going to do, I made myself a promise. One day, after I've beaten the game, and I feel like I sufficiently know how to play the game well enough, I'm going to go back. Like, I'll start a new save file. I don't think I'm going to do New Game Plus. I'm just going to start a new save file, and I will try to beat the game based off of my new learned knowledge, rather than the guide of cheesing and sequence breaking and all that stuff. That pitter-patter. But would I have known any of this if I hadn't looked up a guide online? No, by no means. The game is really good about giving you lots of open room to explore and go wherever you want. But that is contrary to the whole point of having a guide. Or not, no, it's contrary to what I'm trying to say. It's like, without the guide, you... worlds like this one, good luck in exploring. Let's rewind it back to the idea of Pokemon. Imagine all the Gen 2 Pokemon. I needed a guide for a lot of things. Like, there's one Pokemon called Mischievous. I was so confused because I knew it existed. I had seen it in a picture, but how do you get it? I have no idea. I thought at one point, well, maybe it's like an evolution of Goldeen or Seeking, because it looked like a fish. Hey, you. Hey, stop typing. Stop typing. Look at the Gen 2 sprite, long and hard, and look at Goldeen and Seeking, and then tell me again that you don't think it's understandable that that thing could be mistaken for a fish. No, no, you still think it's ridiculous to think it's a fish. All right, well, you had better eyes than me. Back then, I was a teenager. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, and yeah, I thought it was a fish. And the idea of being able to get one is like so beyond what I can reasonably do, because I had no idea. There's it's not like there was any disclosure or anything, like any easy way. Like one thing also that hurt in the game is that you can only use a what's it called? You can only use the Pokedex to find out where something is if you've seen one. But part of the problem is, to my knowledge, I don't think anybody in the entire game had a Misdreavus. So where was I going to find this thing? Short answer was I wasn't going to find it, and I sure as heck didn't until I got a guide, and I was like, oh, it's on Mount Silver. Duh. And that combined with all sorts of other things, like the new evolution methods using the King's Rock. Mind you, you tell somebody right from the get go, like, oh yeah, you can evolve your your Kadabra to an Alakazam or your Macho to a Machamp simply by trading it. Okay, where's it say that in the game? Like, where in the game is that made obvious? I'll tell you where. Nowhere. It's nowhere in the game is made obvious that you can just do that. So, without a guide, things like these, forget about it. And then, like, Gen 2, like, you have to know about it Gen 1, but you also have to be a creative thinker in Gen 1 to figure this one out, because, quite frankly, it's like, the idea that you have to be able to do this and put an item on it too, yeah, just not going to work. It's beyond my 2 brain cells that I had back then, and the idea that people are going to just know, like some people they're super talented, magically know. But me back then, no, there's no way I could have possibly known it, and I'm thankful for guides that can help make it really work out. Another one that really hurt me as well, because I didn't have access to a guide at that point in time, was trying to figure out happiness. How does happiness work? All I know is that my Elekid, my Magby, my Smoochum, or my Togepi, they just randomly, poof, they grow up one day. What dictated that? No idea. I didn't understand the happiness mechanic. You're told about it a little bit in the game, but you're not really able to. It doesn't just outright tell you all of these things. And this goes back to the whole Misdreavus thing. Maybe if I trade my Goldeen or Seeking with a specific item, it'll evolve. No? Okay. Maybe if I get its happiness level up or whatever that was, what are you going to do now? Like you don't know that you can put stuff like Carbos and Calcium on them to increase their happiness level. So what you do instead is you just level them up. And usually it was around, like, I think like 40 to 50 they'd have enough happiness. So what do you do now when you have a level 60 Seeking and you're still no closer to figuring out how to get a Misdreavus? A guide really, really helps out in these situations, and I was grateful that there were some guys that I was able to get. Companies used to make a butt ton of money on these things. Like it'd be a part of your bundle. I don't think they do it anymore, but it used to be a part of the your day one bundle. You go out, you buy the game, and when you buy the game, it comes. You can spend a little bit extra money and get the official guide. I think it was made by like Prima Games or something like that, and it would come with that, and you want that more than anything in the world, because you're going to get stonewalled somewhere in the game, and you're going to want to have this one. If you don't have it, you better hope that your friend has it, because guides were just a whole different thing back then. They were a game changer, and you needed them. And but that was back then. Nowadays, you don't need the paperback guide. You have access to pretty much all sorts of stuff nowadays, where you just hop online and you can find the guide pretty easy online to make life a little bit easier, right? But you tell me, is it, in your personal opinion, again, there's no right or wrong answer here, but for you, is the idea of using a guide less good, or words? I'm at a loss for them. Does using a guide, in your opinion, ruin the gaming experience, or does it enhance the gaming experience? If you turn on a guide, do you feel like it makes the game feel more accessible, or do you feel like you're suddenly disconnected from the game at that point in time? What is it for you? Do you feel like you can't thoroughly enjoy a game if you're using the guide? Or do you think that you can only truly enjoy the game if you have the guide? Or perhaps not so much that you need the guide to enjoy the game, but you like having access to the guide just in case. If that makes any sense for you guys. Like, you tell me, do you think guides ruin gaming, or perhaps they make gaming better, more accessible, more fun overall? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about that, because I feel like it really, honestly, it really is both ways. Like, I said that like 5 times already, and I mean it like every single time. Like, if you are using, like, again, if you're using a guide, I'm not going to say, I will never say that somebody who uses a guide is bad at a game. Sometimes you just need one, and I think everybody at some point have used a guide. Everybody at some point have decided, they got to a point where they say, I can't figure it out. What's up with this boss? Some games I can't even play without a guide. Like, straight up hard confession. What am I talking about? I'm talking about, I can't play. And it's. I'll explain the different aspects of it. I can't play Monster Hunter without a guide, because I need to know what a monster is weak to. Like that's my big thing when it comes to games. I need to know what something is weak to. That way, I can actually have an educated choice in it. Pokemon, it's a lot easier. They haven't changed really what the types are in very few times have they ever changed how typing works. So I kind of have that like hardwired in my brain. But games like Monster Hunter, they introduce a new monster. How can I tell what it is? What it is or isn't weak to. I like to know these things. And then lots of newer games. I like epic games, and I'm not talking about Fortnite. No, I'm talking about games that are just way bigger than they have any right to be, and they give you hours upon hours upon hours of fun times. I'm talking about Elden Ring. I'm talking about Animal Crossing, obviously. I'm talking about Skyrim. I'm talking about these games that are built to be adventures. The single player campaign, people are talking about, your first run through should be like 50 to 100 hours to get to the credits if you're lucky. And we're talking 1,000 plus in a lifetime to say that you've sufficiently mastered this game. Animal Crossing, over the course of the last, I think it came out in 2019, over the course of the last 6 years, I have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours logged away on this game. And that's only saying this game. We're talking about all the games, like just like the people I like watching on YouTube who are playing Dark Souls in similar games. They probably have tens of thousands of hours going through all the Soulsborne games. I have tens of thousands of hours on Pokemon and Animal Crossing, and that's because I just love these big old games. And honestly, as many times as I've had to look up a guide to get past some things, I'm probably at a point where I can be the guy who's making the guide for these games, quite honestly. I mean, one could argue, to an extent, that's what this is right here. Um, it's a weak argument, but it's an argument that can be made. Is it? Oh yeah, Atlas, he's playing that at Animal Crossing New Horizons game, and it's basically like a guide in itself on how to get through the game. There are some guide aspects to what we have going on, honestly. I mean, obviously so. I'll let you guys know like little tips and tricks here and there, and it's fun. I'd like to do a guide at some point, probably, but part of the problem is I've never felt that I was qualified enough to make a guide on anything. I wanted to do it a little while back for Warframe. I'm still contemplating it a little bit from a new, but it has to be strictly from a new player perspective. And I don't know, guys, but that's more or less it. So you guys, let me know. Guides, are they good? Are they bad? Do they ruin your gaming experience? Do they make your gaming experience even better? Do they contain nothing but spoilers? Or are they perhaps something that just, if you don't have it, then you're not beating, or not even the same beating, you're not completing the game whatsoever. I'm curious what it looks like for you guys. For me, I'm at a point. Time is very limited as an older kind of fella. I'm not too old, not too young, but I don't have the time of day at this point in my life to be stuck on one little area in a game. So I'll be using guides, but you guys can guide me to what kind of guides you think are acceptable or not so much. And who knows? Maybe I'll be the guide guy one day. Probably not. But pretty much that's the end of what we have going on. The house is a little bit bigger. We got a skunk paying a visit. We got some dude in the tent in the back. You guys are doing absolutely phenomenal. You already made it halfway through this week, and trust me, the rest of the week it's going to be easy breezy. You guys got this. As always, I love you guys. God bless, and toodles. Later, guys.